Look, I get it. You've probably been burned before. Maybe you applied for a business loan and got denied. Maybe you tried one of those quick funding sites that promised the world but ended up ghosting you once they saw your credit. Or maybe you're just sitting there thinking, no way I get approved. My business is too new. My credit isn't perfect. I don't even know where to start. And if that's you, I want you to lean in for a second because what I'm about to show you will change the game for you. Terrence and I are helping brand new business owners, people with zero revenue, no prior business credit, and even thin personal credit get approved for 50K, 75K, and even 100K plus in business funding, sometimes in under 14 days. And I'm not talking about some wild secret lender in the shadows or some illegal TikTok hack. I'm talking about real funding from real banks with 0% APR terms that doesn't show up on your personal credit. Now, I know your BS meter might be blinking right now. Sure, that might work for someone else, but not me. But let me tell you about someone who did think that at first. One of our clients had been running her business as a sole proprietor for 29 years, but had never been able to secure real business funding. She recently set up her new LLC and came to us with great credit, but still unsure if she qualified. So in under 45 days, here's what happened. She got approved for $104,000 from 3 banks and 2 lenders, including an SBA loan and 4 business credit cards. Now she finally has the money to hire staff to grow her business for the first time in almost 30 years. This is what we do every single week. And the reason it works is simple. We don't just throw you at a bank and cross our fingers. We build your fundability like a business asset. So if you're still watching and part of you is thinking, dang, I could use something like that, just know this. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need business income. You don't even need to know how to do this on your own. You just need the right team behind you and the right roadmap to follow. Now, I know there's a lot of noise online. Everybody's out there promising the moon, but what actually works? Now, let me show you what happens when the right person gets plugged into the right system. One recent client followed our playbook step by step, and within 2 weeks, they had $118,000 in business funding approved. That's not a typo. 118,000. They used it to grab equipment, hire 2 employees, and finally break out of that cycle of borrowing from friends and family. Their business had been stuck at that start line for 9 months, and now they're off and running. And that's just one example. Terrence and I have business owners unlocking millions in total funding, and we're just getting started. But listen, this process isn't built for the masses. We're not running some churn and burn course where you're just another number in a faceless group. Terrence and I work one on one with a small handful of business owners each month, usually between 3 to 5 max. So you get actual attention, feedback, and strategy customized to you. And here's what's wild. This works across all kinds of industries. Just for example, we can help truckers cover startup costs and fleet expansion. We can help Airbnb hosts furnish properties and fund listings. We can help contractors get gear, trucks, and insurance lined up. We can help day traders secure capital they can use to scale without draining their own accounts. We also help beauty professionals open new suites and invest in marketing. And if you're a tax professional or a credit repair specialist, we can fund ad campaigns and build teams. Even if you're in e-com or drop shipping and you're an entrepreneur in that industry, you can use funding that we provide to buy inventory and build out your tech stack. And if you're a coach or a consultant, you can finally start running real webinars and funnels. Turo is big. And so if you're a host and you want to add new vehicles and boost your listings with the funding that we provide, you can do that too. So here's the thing. Most people have doubts and thinking it might not work for them. But if you show up and trust the process, then you can get your business funded just like so many others have. So if you're watching this and thinking, well, that's dope, but could you really do this? The answer is yes. So if you're coachable, committed, and ready to take action, we'll just walk you through the whole way. And again, I got to reference this. One recent client secured $118,000 in funding in just 2 weeks. And he said Terrence was the ultimate professional and held my hand the entire process. And here's exactly how it happened. So before, he was stuck in personal debt and tired of hitting walls. This client ran a business in the orthotic and sports rehab space. They had a solid operation. They had an S Corp since 2014 with over 230K in revenue last year. But like many business owners, he was still using personal credit to float business expenses, and it was starting to take a toll. He had a 30K business credit card, but couldn't break past that limit. Now, every application after that hit a wall. 2 denials in just a few months. So here's what Terrence did for him. He audited both personal and business credit, built a tailored funding plan based on real lender criteria, then leveraged insider connections, including a vice president at a major bank. That warm introduction helped fast track the process and approvals. So after getting 118K in funding in less than 2 weeks, this client secured a business line of credit, a $28,000 business credit card from the same bank that already issued him 30K, and a personal loan to clean up that lingering debt. So he said, it completely changed my business. I was able to hire a VA, reinvest in inventory, and finally scale after 11 years. All of this was done with a 749 credit score. The only thing missing before was a real strategy. And this isn't just about credit cards, it's about knowing where to look and how to position yourself like a fundable business. We've used this same process to help business owners in trucking, real estate, tax prep, Turo, e-com, and more. So what happens is you bring the vision, we bring the playbook, and so together we get you funded. Now, let's be real. If you're watching this, you've probably already tried to figure this business funding thing out for yourself. And if you're like most business owners that we talk to, you've been doing it the hard way. You follow all the YouTube videos. You work with a high price, business consultant who got little to no results, or maybe you even bought a course or two. And then what did they tell you? They said, start with the net 30 vendors to build business credit. Or just get a bunch of trade lines and wait for your score to go up. Oh, and you'll need 2 years of tax returns, so don't even think about funding yet. And so what do? You start applying for store credit cards at Uline, Granger, Quill, hoping it magically builds into something. You open up random accounts that never report. You self-fund everything, maxing out your personal cards, thinking it's all normal. Then when you finally go for real funding, you get denied, or you go to the wrong bank, it's the wrong time, wrong setup, or now you have too many inquiries. That sounds familiar, right? And you know what? Here's what a lot of folks believe about funding. They think, I can't get approved until I make money. Or banks only mess with the big businesses. Or my credit's not perfect, I'm probably not fundable yet. They even think if I apply and get denied, I'll be locked out for months. So let's clear that up right now. You don't need revenue to get approved. You don't need 2 years or even 2 months in business. You definitely don't need perfect credit. What you do need is structure, a clean profile, and a funding map that matches where you are right now. That's what we help you build. It's not that you're failing, you're just missing that last 10 to 20%. You're doing your best with the info that you have, but the system isn't designed to hand you a blueprint. Lenders expect you to show up already packaged. They want your profile cleaned up, business structured, matched to the right bank. This isn't about gaming the system, it's about showing up like someone they've already wanted to say yes to. And listen, if you're already nodding your head like, yeah, that's me, then you don't need to wait until the end of this video. Just click the button below and book a free strategy call with Terrence and I. We'll ask you a few questions, then show you what kind of funding you could actually get with no pressure. Or hey, if you're still curious, just keep watching. Terrence is going to break down the exact process we use to help everyday business owners just like you secure 50K, 75K, and even 100+K in funding in a matter of weeks.
When Kyle and I work with clients, we use a proven 3-part system to help them get $50,000 to $100,000 in business funding, even if they're just starting out or have no previous business credit. And I want to actually explain to you how this works. Part 1 is your personal credit and business structure. Before any bank says yes, we make sure both your personal credit profile and your business structure check every box lenders are looking for. On the personal credit side, we focus on the 5 key factors. Number 1 being payment history. Avoid late payments, guys. I'm telling you, at all costs. It accounts for 35% of your credit score. Number 2, credit utilization. Keep your utilization at 10% or below. Number 3 is credit history. At least 2 to 3 years of credit history is ideal. And number 4, credit mix, which is just a healthy mix of revolving and installment accounts. And number 5, new accounts and inquiries. Keep your inquiries low, ideally no more than 3 per bureau. On the business side, we make sure you've got the Big 10 dialed in. That is the key there, guys. Business entity and EIN, business address, also your business phone number, your website, a professional email address, not a personal email address, okay? Get those Gmails out of there. Business bank account, making sure that all your information is congruent. And last but certainly not least, your NAICS code, your DUNS number, your business license, and your online visibility. Here is the thing. Most clients, they come to us and they think they're structured properly, but in reality, over 80% are not. That's where Cal and I stepped in to fix those deficiencies fast and efficiently. Then we focus on bank targeting systems. Once you're set up right, we don't just tell you to apply for random cards. Cal and I help you target the exact banks that are most likely to say yes. And here's what we do. Let me break that down for you. We build a custom list of soft pull banks that won't waste your inquiries. That's super important, okay? We match your credit profile to the right credit bureau pools. Then we align your personal and business data with the bank approval criteria. Then we sequence your applications so one approval boosts the next approval. And quite frankly, this part is where most people mess up. We reversed engineered this system to eliminate the guesswork. And guess what? It actually works, guys. What do you know? Then we have strategic banking relationships. That's essential, okay? This is the secret sauce most people never heard about. Relationship banking matters, guys. Here's what you get when you work with us. We help you build relationships with key players who can walk your application in. They'll able to flag issues and even fast track approvals. We guide you through the best banks to start with in round one, and then we layer in other bank relationships to prepare you for higher limits in round two. You don't need 20 banks, guys. You need the right 5 or 6 banks. That's what people miss. Cal and I built this process with you in mind, so you're not just another number. Once someone decides to work with me and Cal, we don't leave them guessing. We've got a step-by-step system that's designed to get results without the stress, without the confusion, or back and forth most people go through trying to get funded on their own. And you know what that feels like. However, before we walk through the process, here's something important I want you to know for credibility purposes only. I lead a business funding workshop for SCORE, and it's one of the largest nonprofit organizations with over 200 chapters nationwide. Not to mention, they are also backed by the Small Business Administration. Additionally, SCORE has helped over 11 million entrepreneurs nationwide, and they are highly selective about who they allow to speak to their audience. It's a big deal to me, okay? I don't take this responsibility lightly because it means that I've been trusted by one of the most respected names in small business. And what does that mean for you, you may be saying? You're getting the same trusted guidance, but actually customized for you one-on-one and for your business. Now, here's the exact way that me and Cal do it. Step 1, submit the intake form. We start with a simple intake form, and it gives us everything we need to assess where you are right now in your credit, your business structure, your goals, and your timeline. This helps us cut straight to the strategy instead of wasting time on generic advice. Again, generic advice is not what you need. Step 2, identify and then fix what's holding you back. Once we review your intake form, we do a full audit, and that's of your personal credit profile and your business structure. If there's anything blocking your approvals like high utilization or mismatched information or just missing business pieces, we help you correct it immediately. We even use tools like our AI-powered credit assistant, and it helps to clean up errors or disputes efficiently on your personal credit report. Step 3, we build your custom funding map. We build a personalized roadmap that's based on your situation. Basically, which banks to target first based on your situation, which bureaus they pull from, what credit products match your profile, and how much you should expect to get in round 1 versus round 2 of funding. This is where Cal and I put together a smart, sequence plan that's not a shotgun approach. Step 4, we execute with exclusive relationships. Now that you're positioned and targeted, we go get the money. We walk you through our proven funding process. We introduce you, when available, to vetted banking relationships such as BRMs, which are business relationship managers, and reps who actually pick up the phone and they're walking you in your application. You're not applying blindly. You're stepping in fully prepared. This is a huge differentiator because relationships plus positioning, it equals bigger approvals. That's just proven, guys. Step 5, get funded. This is the fun part, okay? You start seeing approvals hit your inbox and limits show up in your account. $25,000 from one bank, $40,000 from another, maybe $10,000 or $20,000 more in the second round. Whether it's business credit cards, lines of credit, or business loans, we help you move fast and with intention. Here are some real clients with real results, okay? Funding client Amanda was approved for $48,000 using this system and was incorporated less than 2 years. Damien was approved for $75,000 using this system and he had a 752 credit score. Deborah was approved for $104,000 using this system and she was incorporated less than 1 year. Not to mention, we've had dozens of people go from $0 to fully funded in 30 days or less. But don't just look at their results. I want you to think about your results, okay? Start thinking about what this could look like for you and in your business. With that said, Cal's going to show you how to use funding to scale with speed and finally build the freedom you started this business for in the first place.
Before we go deeper, let's zoom out. Forget about the strategies and lenders for just a second. What would you do with 50K, 75K, or even 100K in business funding tomorrow? I'm not asking you to hype you up. I'm asking you because this is the moment where everything starts to shift. This isn't about chasing vanity numbers or trying to look successful on Instagram. It's about buying back your time. It's about scaling even faster than your cash flow allows. It's about building a business that doesn't just make money, but actually gives you the freedom. We've worked with clients from all walks of life, blue collar, tech savvy, solo entrepreneurs, full time moms, and the story is always the same. They had a vision, they just didn't have the capital. And when they finally got that approval email, it's game on. So let me give you a few examples of what you could do with that kind of funding. For real estate investors who are ready to stop watching Zillow and start making moves, you can put 40K down on your first rental property. You could cover rehab costs for a promising flip. You could even launch a profitable Airbnb in under 2 months, fully furnished and guest ready. Or if you're into e-commerce and product brands and you have a product idea, you can bulk order inventory to get a lower cost per unit. You could invest in a professional packaging and next day fulfillment center. You could even hire your first VA so you can stop spending all day answering customer emails. Or maybe you're in trucking and transportation. Whether it's your first truck or your fifth, funding makes it real. You could get that down payment handled and cover startup insurance, or you could pay for that DOT compliance and dispatch software and maintenance. You could even hire a part-time driver and then grow your routes without doing it all yourself. And maybe you're in coaching and consulting. You know that your skill set could help people, but you've been stuck at the idea stage. So what you could do is build out a high ticket offer that finally replaces your 9 to 5. You could use ads to get your first 10 to 20 clients and then prove your concept. You could even hire a team or a funnel builder for you so that you're not duct taping together technology all night. And here's one for the local service-based business owners. Whether it's cleaning, landscaping, detailing, or something else, you could buy your equipment and then wrap your vehicle. You could launch a simple website and set up online booking. You could get insured and start saying yes to those bigger, better paying clients. Now, what if you're a digital agency owner or a freelancer? No more chasing invoices or juggling 10 roles at once. You could pay for lead generation and client acquisition. You could hire a junior team to handle fulfillment. You could invest in your back end, CRM, automation, or contract onboarding. Now, if you're still with me, your head is probably spinning with the possibilities. And if you're thinking, yo, this is exactly what I've been needing, let's take that next step. Click the button below. You'll be able to immediately book a free one-on-one strategy call. No pressure, no fluff, just clarity, a game plan, and a real shot at 100K plus in business funding in the next 30 days. So what are you waiting for? Let's get it.